Innocence with your boy E-Dub, Gem Dropper, Showstopper. First things first, I want you guys to have yourself a wonderful Saturday. Beautiful day out here in the streets of Montreal. So if you guys happen to be anywhere around here, enjoy it to the fullest. I heard something today, and I figured I had to come up here and share it with the rest of my people. Before I get into that, shouts out to Grand Brothers Jim. Shouts out to Ticket TV. Very informative, people. If you guys want up-to-date information, I suggest you guys subscribe to his channel. Call Me Brown, Bus Life, Casino for Life, Dreamers Pro. Those are some of the top content creators out there, people. If you guys are interested in good content, I suggest you guys subscribe to any one of those guys' channels. So, apparently, allegedly, Shawn Kemp was on a show, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was on All the Smoke. And he had his own opinion on the Proclaimed King. Now, I'm going to be one of you guys, I'm going to be one of the ones to tell you guys. There's a lot of the older generation that if they speak and they have an opinion on anything having to do with basketball, whether it's past, present, or even something having to do with the future, I will definitely hear what they have to say. Now, I know there's a lot of the younger generation that doesn't know a lot about Shawn Kemp. I've been one that's been saying it for the longest while. That Shawn Kemp was a bad man back in the days when I was watching basketball. I'll even take it one step further and let you guys know directly that if I had a choice, if I personally had a choice between choosing, I had one more roster spot to fill on my team, and the last two players I had to choose between was a prime Shawn Kemp and a prime LeBron James. You guys can call me whatever you want to call me. I'm taking Shawn Kemp all day, every day. Period. All day, every day to fill that last roster spot. A prime Shawn Kemp is what I'm talking about. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of the younger generation that didn't have the opportunity to see what Shawn Kemp had to offer to the game. You guys, don't be shy, man. Google him. Watch the highlights. You'll see that I'm not making up any myths. He was called a Rain Man for a reason. Now, he had his own personal opinion on the Proclaimed King. How you doing, sir? Welcome. Shawn Kemp had his own personal opinion on the Proclaimed King. He said that LeBron James basically would have been an average player back in his era. He also said that he doesn't believe that LeBron James should ever be compared to Michael Jordan. Now, you and I could stay here and debate that 24/7. But an individual that had the opportunity to play at the highest level of this particular sport also had the opportunity to play against Michael Jordan, has the right to give his opinion. And when he gives his opinion, I suggest the rest of us mortal people that sit on the sideline and watch, we should keep our mouth shut and listen. Absolutely. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. I only speak English. I'm sorry. But hey, if you want to teach me a few lingos, I'll be more than happy to learn. Gerada Orange Indo. Okay, well, hey. Now, honestly speaking, I'm kind of happy to see that there's a lot of the, you know, old school basketball players that are actually coming out and being honest about their opinion. Ask your mom. That's who you need to ask if it cleared up yet, buddy. Now, the only thing I can really tell you guys is the mere fact of the matter that Shawn Kemp is a guy that, realistically speaking, the only reason why he wasn't a champion was because he ran into Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. But there was a point in time where he played on a lot of people considered to be the best team at that particular point in time, the Seattle Supersonics, with him and Gary Payton. Where are you going? Nah, I'm just driving around enjoying the beautiful weather. So Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton, they were making a lot of noise. And realistically speaking, if by chance, just like Ticket TV said, that Seattle did beat the Chicago Bulls when they played them, Shawn Kemp would have been the MVP. Arun, I'm from Montreal, friend. If you've never been here, you need to come check it out. It's a beautiful place. Jordan has the highest scoring average of all time in the NBA. And you're absolutely correct. And just like the numbers can't lie about LeBron, the numbers cannot lie about Michael Jordan either. Plain and simple. What Shawn Kemp had to say was, my name is E-Dub. E-Double. That's me. Yeah, Elgin, you really believe that it would have been Gary Payton? I'm telling you, Shawn Kemp was the beast, though. He was the one that they were having a lot of trouble with. So, you know, I don't know. Hey, but you know what? Honestly speaking, it wouldn't have been a bad choice. But I personally think Shawn Kemp would have been the MVP. If it wasn't for Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan, Seattle probably would have won that. Arun, you're from India. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining. Appreciate the support. Yes, I have heard of Michael Ray Richardson. Yes, I have. But this is all to say, people, that like I told you before, man, there's a lot of the guys that played in the league before, and they're finally starting to come out. They're finally starting. Arun, thank you very much. Fully support. I appreciate you. Very strong dunker. That's exactly correct. Yes, sir. He was named the Rain Man for a reason, because when he went up, he made sure it rained on your head. He was a beast, man. And a lot of people, like I said, like, for example, I have two sons of this generation. When I mention names like Shawn Kemp to them, they're looking at me like a deer in headlights. No, I'm not. Right now, I'm sitting down in my vehicle, enjoying the scenery. I'm about to go inside, but I had to come up here and let you guys know that if you didn't have the opportunity to hear what Shawn Kemp had to say on the All the Smoke interview with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, I suggest you guys tune in. Have an open mind. Try not to discredit him, because that's what's happening right now. Because of the fact of the matter that he gave his opinion on what he felt about the proclaimed king, you have a lot of people on social media that are taking cheap shots at him. Oh, all he knew how to do was dunk. Okay, fine. You want to say that's all Shawn Kemp knew how to do was dunk? But at least he had a go-to move. I'm going to ask you guys again. What exactly is LeBron James' go-to move in his bag of tricks? Is it a fadeaway jump shot? Is it a step back? What is it? I used to wear Air Jordans back in the day. I wouldn't wear Air Jordans now. You see, when I was younger and I didn't understand the full value of a dollar, I would go out and spend that kind of money for Air Jordans. But now, there ain't no reason for me to be spending that kind of money on shoes. Yes, sir. Thank you, thank you. Take the time to watch the All the Smoke interview, my friends. Take the time to listen to what Sean Kemp had to say. Try your best to listen to it with an open mind. Because, again, he didn't say anything to discredit LeBron James. He didn't take any cheap shots at LeBron James. He spoke based on his own personal, honest opinion. And for an individual that played the game at the highest level, he has a right to give that opinion. And for us individuals that never laced up shoes and played one game in the NBA, our job is to listen to those opinions. We don't have to agree with it, but we do have to at least listen to them. My NBA GOAT is Michael Jordan, all day long. All day long. All day long, his approach to the game, the killer instinct that he had, the hardware that he has to show for it, Michael Jordan is the true GOAT. And the main reason why you see there's a lot of other negative things in the media spoken about anybody else is because they try to push the narrative. They're trying to erase everybody else's legacy in order to make sure the path is clear for this so-called GOAT. Now, let me ask you an opportunity. Sorry, not an opportunity. I was reading the comments. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard any of the other so-called greats go out and tell people that they're great? Did you ever hear Michael Jordan have to do an interview to convince or try to tell people that he's great? It's never happened. I've never seen it happen before. What determines their greatness is us, the viewers. We're the ones that see what they're doing, evaluate their talent, and put them on whatever type of pedestal we want to put them on. So when you have one individual in this era walking around telling people that he's great, when you have one individual that's able to have a collective amount of people around him, such as La Media, who is my starting five? I'll be more than happy to answer that question. But the one question I want to ask you, Elgin, is if you're asking me my starting five, are you asking me of all time? Are you asking me to combine the last era and this era? Or are we just talking about this era? Of all time. My starting five of all time, Michael Jordan. Wow. Magic Johnson. Now, there's going to be a couple players that I'm going to throw in there because they were my personal favorites. Not because they rightfully deserve to be in that category, but I just love their game. Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady was a bad man. Prime Tracy McGrady. I loved him. Kobe Bryant has to be part of that. So I have four. And if I'm going to put a center in there, I'm going to put, although a lot of people would probably put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there, And because of his numbers, he deserves to be in that spot. I honestly would put Akeem Olajuwon there. I mean, a prime Akeem Olajuwon with the footwork, with the way he would turn people inside out, for a center to be doing stuff like that. Yes, sir. And that's just off the top of my head, that all-time 5 that I gave you. I mean, realistically speaking, if I want to be wiser with the 5 that I was choosing, I would probably have to take Tracy McGrady off of that and replace him with, you know, if I go back to my era, you could put a Charles Barkley there. You could put a Scottie Pippen. You know, there's a lot of different things you could do with that. But yes, sir, that would be my starting 5, or my 5 of all time that I would love to watch play, that I would pay money to go see play all the time. Yeah. What about you? Who's your starting 5? Or who's your 5 of all time? Unfortunately, yes, I saw Jordan play, but on TV. I never got the opportunity to see him play live. But I've been following Michael Jordan since college. And understand one thing. I was not a Michael Jordan fan when he was in college. As a matter of fact, I did not like Michael Jordan very much when he was in college. Reason being because I was a Georgetown Hoya fan. That was, I mean, I as a kid growing up, I remember telling my mom that that's where I want to go to school to play basketball. I want to play for John Thompson. So when Michael Jordan came out and hit that game-winning shot to take the championship away from my Georgetown Hoyas, I wasn't happy about that. Dr. J, hey, Elgin, yeah, you know what? I could tell you one thing. Your 5 that you picked would beat my 5. Just because of the simple fact of the matter that you had Abdul-Jabbar that had a hook shot that nobody could stop, and you put Dr. J in that mix. Damn. Wow. That's way too much talent for one team, bro. But like I was saying, Michael Jordan came out and he hit that winning shot against Patrick Ewing and my Georgetown Hoyas. How do you think I felt about that? Because I, especially as a kid, I was a very sore loser. So I was not a happy individual. Did not like a bone in Michael Jordan's body. And especially due to the simple fact of the matter that he was not even the star of that team. For him to be the one to come and hit a winning shot hurt my feelings, man. Because the stars on that team that year was Sam Perkins and James Worthy. In North Carolina, those were the 2 stars. Jordan was not the star of the team. Jordan took over the stardom the very next year when Perkins and Worthy moved on and went to the NBA. And it was at that particular point in time that I became a fan of Michael Jordan. Because I got to see what, before that, I didn't know much about him. And he was an individual that came and hit a game-winning shot. But when I had the opportunity now to watch him play the very next year, and he wasn't playing in the shadows of a James Worthy and a Sam Perkins, and he took over North Carolina, I had to do a full 360 and become a big fan of his. Yes, sir. And then I watched him transition into the NBA, and I watched him go through his bumps and bruises before he became a champion in the NBA. See, so that's the reason why I have a hard time classifying or putting anybody in that type of GOAT conversation when that was my process of seeing what excellence had to offer to the game of basketball. Now, don't get me wrong, there was excellence before him. Like a name that you put right there, Elgin, like a Dr. J. When I started watching basketball, Dr. J was at the end of his career, so I just had the highlights to deal with. I just had the highlights to watch to see exactly how good Dr. J was. But you see the difference with that era, the difference with the era that I grew up in, is the fact of the matter that you didn't have the Michael Jordans of the world, or the Sean Kemps of the world, or the Gary Paytons of the world, or the Magic Johnsons of the world, disrespecting the guys that played before them. You didn't have that. As a matter of fact, they gave the ones before them the respect that they rightfully deserved. It's just this era, for some strange reason, this particular era, that feels the need to disrespect the era that came before them. CT, what's happening? How you living? So that's the main reason why. That's the reason why you see, honestly speaking, there's a lot of people in my generation that have such a hard time dealing with this era when it comes to talking anything about sports. Because this era seems to want to disrespect anything that happened before them. The greatest dunker of all time, in my era again, I'm gonna say in my era, I'm gonna have to honestly give it to Vince Carter. Sean Kemp and Vince Carter. Sean Kemp was a beast at dunking as a kid growing up, so I loved everything he did. But then, when I got a little bit older, I mean, Vince Carter was... And he played for my team, the Toronto Raptors. Vince Carter was the man. The man. When it came to dunking, that is. Once again, who's your greatest dunker of all time? There's been some great ones. Dominique Wilkins also, you got to put him up there. I mean, honestly speaking now, honestly, I would, like, if I had to put them in 1, 2, 3, Dominique Wilkins would be number 1. Vince Carter. No. Sean Kemp would be number 2 and Vince Carter would be number 3 on my list. Of dunkers? Yeah, it'd be in the, but let me tell you something. The margin between Sean Kemp and Vince Carter would be very small. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a nice dunker, but Michael Jordan... The reason why Michael Jordan's dunks look that much better because Michael Jordan did it with a killer instinct. I mean, he was dunking over 2, 3 people at the same time. But so was Sean Kemp. So was Vince Carter. As a matter of fact, Vince Carter was jumping over people's heads to dunk. So, and realistically speaking, as good of a dunker as Jordan was, he was nothing like Dominique Wilkins back in the day. He was nothing like a Dominique Wilkins. I mean, Dominique Wilkins was an absolute beast when it came to dunking. Realistically speaking, and like I said, Jordan was my guy. Jordan was my favorite player. But even the year that Jordan beat Dominique Wilkins for the slam dunk, they stole that slam dunk award away from Dominique Wilkins and gave it to Michael Jordan. I mean, I'm an individual. Don't get me wrong, man. I'll like who I like. I'll have my favorites, but I'll still try my best to keep it as real as possible. Not because Michael Jordan's my favorite means I'm going to sit up here and lie for him and say that he deserved something when he rightfully didn't. Everything else he got in his career, he deserved because he worked for it. That slam dunk contest was the one thing. Yeah, he did. He beat him in the 80s. But they stole that contest away from Dominique Wilkins. If you get an opportunity to go back and watch those dunks. Watch the dunk off between the two of them. Dominique's dunks were much more powerful, had much more meaning and much more substance behind them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, you know, again, now maybe, and you know what? Maybe I was too young to see it at that particular point in time. Maybe the main reason why they did that was because of the fact of the matter that they needed Jordan to be the best. So maybe at that time, the stuff that we see the media and stuff like that doing for LeBron James right now, that could have been something that they were doing for Michael Jordan back then, that I may have been just too young to have recognized and realized. So we're in 2024 now, and that was in the 80s. I'm just going to chalk it up to saying that they gave that dunk contest to Michael Jordan, but the rightful winner of that dunk contest should have been Dominique Wilkins. Yes, sir. He got up. He got up there. Yes, he did. And he didn't care who was in front of him. I believe, if you're asking me, I believe Shawn Kemp patterned a lot of his game off of Dominique Wilkins, because the same kind of authority that Dominique Wilkins used to take the ball to the rim with was exactly how Shawn Kemp attacked that rim. But all that to say, I mean, you know, there's a lot of other individuals. There's a lot of people that have a problem with what Shawn Kemp had to say. I'm one of the individuals to tell those people, you guys have absolutely no right to have any problems with what he had to say. If he's an individual that has a right to have an opinion, and any other NBA player that played in the game has a right to have an opinion. Just because that opinion might differ from yours doesn't make it wrong. That being said, people, I want you guys to share. I need you guys to like and hit those subscribe buttons, man. Help this channel grow. Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub ain't going nowhere. I want you guys to have yourself a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of this day. It's beautiful. And if I don't get the opportunity to speak to you guys before this weekend's over, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub is out. Have yourself a blessed day, peeps.